question here. I want kind of get your thought on this too. Hick Reynolds. I don't know what Hick political background is. He said, but he did say, are conservatives enemies? Are all of them enemies? What do you think about that? Any thoughts on that? I give my thoughts on this right after. Like I don't want to put you on the spot. I'd like to interact with my people that's in the chat here. Happy. But what's your thoughts on that? I'll give my spiel to it. Go ahead, bro.
When you talk, when I'm assuming the question is conservative voters. Right?
Yeah, he said all are conservatives evil.
I'm just going to say conservatives. I think the whole left-right thing is complete BS.
Amen.
I think that.
Amen.
I think that what they have is a media system that's basically 100% wealth class agenda propaganda. It's only designed to make you hate other people. It has nothing to do with fixing problems. You just went through all the list of everything that wasn't in the debates. You're not going to see any reasonable questions in the debates because the wealth class doesn't want that. The wealth class wants everybody to be mad at everybody else and preoccupied. So all liberals hate all conservatives, all progressives hate liberals, everybody hates everybody. I don't believe that at all. And Bernie proved it. He goes on Fox News and everybody gives him a standing ovation. People want policies that help their lives, period. You don't have to label them conservative or liberal or whatever. To me, the whole dimension actually politics is people versus corporations.
Yes, bro.
I think liberals and conservatives are not for corporations. They're for people because they are people. That's what I think.
Exactly. Man, you put it on the money there. And that's exactly why we get along. He's on the money. Now, let me bring this up. This is what I think about this. You guys realize this is why I hate the Democratic Party and Joe Biden so much. There was a poll that came out that showed Republican voters support Medicare for all at a 46% rate. The Democratic Senate and the Democratic Party voted against a resolution that put Medicare for all on their platform. That's not even proposing Medicare for all. That's just putting it on the platform. And they said no. So what did that tell you? That tells you that the Democratic Party leadership, Joe Biden, are to the right of conservative voters. So how can you tell me that I should hate MAGA or the average working class white person who may be misled? They may hate me, but I tell them at the same time, you can hate me all you want. I'm still fighting for everybody to get health care. I still want to end the wars. I want to bring your family home. I was in South Carolina. I talked to a military veteran's wife when I was canvassing. And it was a very interesting conversation because I'm an anti-imperialist and I let people know about it. And she actually put back on me for a little bit because I said we need to reduce the military budget. And she's like, well, I'm actually a military wife. I don't know if I support that. And I was like, wait. You misunderstand the context of the issue. We spend more than anyone else in the military and compared to any other country in the world. But homeless veterans, there are 22 U.S. veterans kill themselves each day because the veterans are homeless, the veterans are not taken care of. And I brought this up to her and I won her back over because I'm like, so we got people who are supporting these giant military budgets, but they're not supporting you. They're not supporting your family. They're supporting the weapons contractors. That's who they work for. That's who Joe Biden, that's who John McCain, that's who these people work for. So John McCain, people always pretend, I don't want to get into it too much, but he one of the people that say, oh, we got to support military families. You are full of shit because your whole career, you did nothing for homeless veterans. Homeless veterans are being crushed. 22 per day. The Republican Party continue to vote against referendums that will increase the VA budget. Why does this issue mean so much to me? My dad was a disabled veteran who's now, thank goodness, he lives a better life now because he gets VA benefits. But he tells these horror stories for years how he's been denied by the VA because they spend all this resource trying to deny people their benefits. Because we live in a crazy right-wing state, and he used to live in Alabama as well, that do everything they can to deny you your benefits. This is the Republican Party I'm talking about. This is the Democratic Party I'm talking about because they're complicit with this as well. So you want to tell me that I'm supposed to be friendly with them? I'm looking after your family. So when people ask me, do I hate conservatives? No, I don't. Now, if you're a crazy neo-Nazi, if you want me dead, I'll respond in kind. But that's not the vast majority of them. That's not. It's just simply not. Even if you look at the Proud Boy rally, which I'm concerned about them, honestly. But how many people were there? 100 people? 200 people? 1,000? Let me get even we say that's 1,000. What percentage is that of the population? And we had people mad at me today because I was talking about the Bill Burr thing. We just talk about that a little bit later after this interview. But I talk about MLK said a multiracial working class. He didn't just say we got to worry about black people. I had black women, I had black reactionary, black liberals, the people that I talk about, and the people that I don't see as my friends. They was going after me. They're like, "Oh, you defending white women? You defending white people?" I'm defending the working class, and you over here trying to divide and conquer us in a situation where we have a massive homeless crisis that's going to affect white people too. It's going to affect black people. It's going to affect Latinos. It's going to affect Asians. It's going to affect everyone. And you want to talk about you want to say, "Oh, niggas caping for the white man," bro. Who do you think you think you know more than MLK? You think you know more than Malcolm X? You think you know more than Frederick Hampton? All these people talk about having a multiracial working class, and you people are going after me because I said I agree with I don't agree with punching at the white working class, because we actually had black liberals like, yo, white working class people, they privileged as well. Yeah, sure. I guess they may have some privileges, but what's the benefit of actually talking about this in this situation that we're in right now, when we have a homelessness crisis, when we have a government that is rogue and corrupt? And that's why I like the People Party, because they acknowledge that. They say they want to get those white working class people on our side, and that's how we crush the duopoly. If we get them right-wing leaning libertarians who want to end the war. So to answer your question in a nutshell, that's why I don't hate conservative voters. I hate people that want to oppress my community, which means the conservatives that we can't move, because I'm not delusional. We're not going to win over Sean Hannity. But Sean Hannity is the Republican establishment, and people that support him, they back the Republican establishment. We need to get the people who are anti-establishment and people who are outside of that. And I'm going to get right to you, Mitch, but I want to tell this one story one more time, because I talk about it on Twitter, but I don't talk about it a lot on my streams. But I met a lady named Becky in South Carolina when I was canvassing for Bernie Sanders. One of the finest ladies I've ever met in my life. White woman from South Carolina. She's a hardcore Republican. But she didn't like the Republican Party. She liked Bernie Sanders. The last time she voted Republican was 2004. Now, there are a lot of people that will cancel her outright because I talked to her and I moved her left significantly. I'm going to get into that very soon. She's still not going to move on the pro-life issue, on the abortion issue. That's just how she raised. She strongly feel about that. It's whatever. But she's still going to be our ally, because she said she wasn't even 100% on board on Medicare for All at first, but then she told me a story how she heard Bernie talk, she listened to progressive leaders like Nina Turner, and she moved on that issue of Medicare for All, right? And then it slowly started. She slowly started moving to the left. Slowly, she went from a Republican who was dissatisfied with the Republican Party, and then after our racial multi-working class movement, she moved to the left. And then it was funny because I was talking to her and she said, I still support Bernie, but I still call myself a Republican. I'm not going to join it. I'm like, hey, that's cool. And I was literally probably out. I don't know why you're so obsessed with that label, because you don't vote Republican. You don't like Republicans. So why you still calling yourself Republican? But it took me a while, but after the end, every time I left South Carolina, she said, yeah, you're right. I don't consider myself a Republican no more. I explained to her the concept of libertarian socialism, because I say there are a lot of right-wingers who, and this is something I learned living in a red state, because I sold cars. I used to talk to a lot of Republicans and a lot of conservatives, and I can outflank the phony right-wing libertarians, these shitty-ass Republicans, these right-wing propagandists, the Candace Owens, the Ben Shapiro's. I outflank them on conservative issues. What? What do you mean? What's more family values than a 4-day work week? What more family values than a living wage? What's more family values than end the war so military families don't lose their husband, their wife? What's more family values than increasing the education budget so your family can get a good education no matter what income you're at right now? And this is how I went over right-wing voters. Go ahead, Mitch. I'll let you. I see you were trying to. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother.
I was just going to say, how are they pro-life if that only counts for the 9 months when there's a fetus in there? What about the other 75 years?
Hey, that's why I have respect for Becky, because she saw through that bullshit. Because that one thing Becky said, she said, I'm pro-life, but I really believe in it. And that's why she said she liked Bernie. Because this is one thing I would love. I need to get her on my show. I ain't talked to her in a few months. if it's not left South Carolina. But one thing she said she liked Bernie Sanders because he was like, that's the first pro-life candidate I've ever seen. Like in years. And I was like, yes, Becky. And I love, like, she one of my best friends. I'm going to go down here and visit her one of these days. I love that lady. And that's what she said. She literally brought up, like, and she said, and if you want to get upset with her with the abortion issue, you want to get upset with her when because she's a little politically incorrect. But she's an ally. And like the one I ever seen, because she's canvassing with us for Bernie Sanders, and she flipped so many of people in her family. She told me stories how she had people who was racist against black people, and she got people to stop thinking that way. She got people to start supporting Medicare for all, and this is how we win. That's how we win. So I need to get her on the show, and I miss Becky. She's like the nicest lady. She got a farm out there in South Carolina. I don't want to get into her business. I don't want to do that. But she's an amazing lady, and she's just one of many Republicans I talk to that you can win over. Because my original point was, the Republican Party and the Republican leadership is they're frauds. When you listen to Ben Shapiro, when you listen to Candace Owens, what they're talking about is not consistent to conservative values, no matter how you look at it. No matter how you look at it, it's not consistent. Supporting a system that leads to this amount of income inequality, having a system that abolishes unions and abolishes workers' rights, where we went through this issue already, where we was like, we need to have a 40-day work week so we have time with our family. And now we roll that back. We have right to work laws in Missouri, where we getting screwed. We getting screwed because people are being forced to work 50 hours a week. They working themselves to death. And you want to tell me you pro-family? My dad didn't see me a lot because my dad was working. And there are black people that said all the time, you have conservatives, they criticize our culture. But they were like, well, the black man and his family. You guys got family issues. Nigga, we are working to death. And then imagine if you're working 50 hours a week, you're still living in poverty, you are not at the mental level to be an effective father. You are exhausted. You live in poverty. You are stressed out. You are not there. So who more pro-family than me? Someone who I support a 4-day work week, I support a living wage, and I support paid time leave, family pay leave. What's more pro-family than that? You frauds. But if you talk to, and then once again, this is why I go back to the question. I know I'm rambling for a while. Sorry, Mitch. But that go back to the original question of, do you hate conservative voters? No. Because if you talk to the people and you explain it this way, they've been hit with so much propaganda that they never heard that explained that way. And that's how Becky wins over her conservative friends. That's how I won over conservative people that I work with when I used to sell cars. That when I talk to people online who make conservative, I bring that up. And I had a lot of people who go hit my inbox. Hey, man, your kind of progressivism is something I can be behind. I hate Democrats, but I can get behind you. And that's how that happens. What's your thoughts, Mitch, before we go back to the ranked choice vote? I know a lot of people in the chat. I'll get some of their questions later, but we can get back to ranked choice vote. But what are your thoughts on what I said? I've been going for a while, but he got me riled up.
Yeah, you are totally nailing it. I mean, the way I look at it is they completely have you because of one choice voting. Yeah. It's going to be a Democrat or Republican, right?
Yeah.
So they've got you, and you can't get out of it. So it just keeps getting worse and worse. And I mean, everything you're describing is an oligarchy.
Exactly.